Yo, what's up? It's your boy lemarss, and today we're going to be looking at the new class on LaTale that just dropped a couple days ago. Gatekeeper is a physical class that uses chakrams. Like the chakrams that are pretty common in Asian culture and Asian MMOs. It looks pretty similar to Sephiroth, the knuckle class, but it is different in playstyle, and it's pretty unique as it introduces a new concept, which is being able to open gates and warp your character around, as well as party members, and also warp around mobs. So you can control mobs and control the room by opening these gates. And the gate system, it comes with three gate skills. You press confirm and you can place the entrance of the gate, and then you can place the exit, so where your character, your party, or the mobs come out of the gate. Confirm. So just to give a quick example of that, I have my gate skills here. Let's see, gate 1. As you see, I have it set up where the gate is behind my character, and it opens up and teleports whoever goes through it that distance. Second gate I have set up to be instant. It's on top of my character, so if you walk through that gate, I'll teleport instantly. And the third gate, which I believe is actually bugged right now, it only opens for a second. I have it set up in a way that's similar to a mobility skill. So if I'm looking to do like a third jump, or looking to gain some more distance and mobility when playing, I'll just use my third gate for the most part to create more mobility like that. All right, looking at the passive skills, we have Novice Chakra Mastery, which increases the physical accuracy. We have Adept Chakra Mastery, which increases the physical damage +1 per level. And then we have the Expert, which increases critical damage and defense penetration per level. Pretty good to have 2 of those on one. And then we have Grand Chakra Mastery, which increases attack percent by 1% a level. Special, same special as any main class. Oh, and by the way, Gatekeeper is a main class. It's not a subclass, so you can select this from level 1, and it has 3 job advancements. The other 2 aren't that important to look at, because these days you can not only skip the 3rd job quest, but also you don't spend much time on the first 2 jobs, so it's not really worth giving those too much attention. But taking a look at the Infinity skill though, let's see, we can get some good angles here. We got brutal rings, pretty cool. Taking a look at the next skill, we got Ring Slash, and this skill is similar to Blade Master's combo, where you just hold down the button and you can combo, change direction as well. Ring Slash doesn't have any special attributes to it, but the Awakening version is pretty cool, and we'll get into that soon. Next skill is Twisted Rings. It throws and spin your weapon to protect yourself and attack enemies around you. It's a pretty good skill. It does the most damage for the most part when you are pre-awakening. Taking a look at the next combo skill, this one is a limited combo. It has a cooldown, but it has a chance of summoning a blast at a 10% chance per level. So let's see if we can get that blast to come out. Looks like we didn't get it on our first try. And since this combo skill does have a cooldown, you gotta wait for it, but it's stronger than the other combo skill. And there goes the blast right there. See, it goes pretty far, and it hits mobs that are at a distance. It's kind of messed up that they put this on this class though, considering Sephiroth has that blast as a attack in its awakening form. So a little bit of a copy and paste going on there, and they just changed the color of it, but it's pretty cool, and it's not consistent, so it is what it is. Then we got Bigfoot. It is a stun skill, so let's see if we can find that. Bigfoot. A Bigfoot comes out literally and stuns the enemies. Nothing too special there outside of the stun, but it looks cool, I guess. And then we got Gates of Arcane. It looks like it's a summon, but it's really not. It just opens up a gate in the air, and also is a shield skill, so you get shielded when you use it. Then we got Twirling Shot. It's a slow. It also has damage mitigation, and it has knockback resistance, meaning the mobs cannot stun lock you or knock you back. Essentially, I try not to use the word stun lock, because these days mobs actually do stun, but you won't get knockback spammed. when using that skill, and that was pretty cool. I don't like skills that have really long animations because they lock you in place and can get you killed, but since there's knockback resistance on this one, you should be able to move right out of it. And then taking a look at the dash, got some special particle effects. As you can see, when he runs, it has like the Naruto run effect, and the dash is kind of similar. And then it has the back tumble that every class comes standard with these days. Looking at the passives, pretty common stuff, basic stats. We got a crit tree, we got an attack tree with some max at the end. Then we have a pretty good defensive tree, plus 1% max per level, plus 2% damage mitigation at level, which is pretty good. Then the dual immunity skill, which I didn't proc into. Then we have our normal AP skill increase. We got dual accuracy, dual static damage, and then movement speed. So 70 movement speed on this class. Taking a look at Legend 1, that's the first legend attack skill that you get. That's L4. You just jump in the air. It does work as a dodging skill, but it's classic legend skill with some damage mitigation on it. Then taking a look at L1. So the original L1 before Awakening, it's kind of like the LL4. So I'll show you L4 first, where you summon these rings. Now it is a summonable where you can walk away from it when it's summoned, but you summon these rings that attack in all directions. The original LL1 is like that too. The L7 is like that too, except it's just much bigger. So just imagine that skill, that summon skill, but across the entire screen and lasting for about 2 seconds longer. So once again, a big ring summoning frenzy. And let's look at L7 first, since it isn't awakened. But jumps up, summons a big ring, and spins it around. I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty, I don't know, it has a lot of character to it. But now taking a look at awakening skills, we can go over to the L7, which now is awakened. So I can't show you the original one for anyone who isn't aware. But we'll go over some of the awakening system stuff soon. But awakening summons a big black hole. It's pretty cool considering the class is considered Gatekeeper, and black holes have like the concept of not knowing what comes out on the other side. But now looking at the actual awakening skills, we'll do these one by one. We got Bigfoot. So showed you Bigfoot earlier where the foot comes out and stuns. Now Bigfoot stomps multiple times, has a lot more range, has a lot more damage, more hits. So increase the number of strikes, the damage increases implied, and then it's just a lot more going on. All right, then Gates of Arcane, that was this skill, the shield skill. It now has an increased and stronger shield, has more strikes, and it just operates completely differently. So Gates of Arcane now summons some rings, but it's not really considered a summoning skill because it does lock you in place, but you have a stronger shield and it's doing a lot more damage. So that's pretty cool. Taking a look at Twirling Shot. So Twirling Shot is, which one is that? We got this skill right here where it's throwing the rings forward, pretty stationary. This one spawns gates now, increase the number of strikes, and does multiple ring throws. So it just increased the rings tenfold. A lot more dramatic with the attacks. Now looking at our two main awakening skills, we got Ring Slash and we got Twisted Rings. So Ring Slash was the combo skill, and there are two options for it. The first option is to increase the damage by 5, and it looks like it also increases the range, which it doesn't notice, but the combos extended as well, and it's also a lot faster, so it just made it a lot more aggressive as an attack. I think that's pretty cool, especially when you compare it to like Blade Master. One thing about this skill is that it's a playstyle skill, right? So if you want a skill where you can be more lax in gameplay and just hold down the button, this is a good skill to awaken. But if you want to go more meta and play the game in a way that will benefit you a lot better, if you're playing more hardcore, then the second skill is a lot better, I think. It does damage mitigation plus 20%, so when you use the skill you will be a lot safer. It also has HP steal, life steal, which is not very common on LaTale, so I think that's really good. But it does give the skill a cooldown, and it loses its longer combo. So yeah, you got a cooldown now, but you get some HP back and you got damage mitigation. And generally speaking, in the late game, you don't want to be holding down the combo skill anyway. That's really dangerous, especially one that doesn't have any shielding or any defenses. And so looking at the last awakening skill, we got Twisted Rings. I think this is like the better awakening skill out of them all. So Twisted Rings, that was a very strong attack that we had before. It just does a lot of damage really fast. But when it's awakened, it has two options. The first option is to summon a large amount of rings, and it does become a summoning skill. So it's essentially summons Twisted Rings twice in 2 locations around you, and it increases your damage tenfold because, you know, when you have summoning skills, you can always stack them and get a lot of damage out at once. So they don't count towards the combo count, but that's a lot of hits happening at once. And you can use other skills while that Twisted Rings is going on, which is really good for knockback on mobs. But I think the better skill actually is the one that gives dual immunity, and it also has a summon at the end of it. So it'll be a less damage, a less area of effect, but it gives you dual immunity and it has a longer cooldown. So you start with dual immunity, you use Twisted Rings, and your cooldown is a lot longer, and it's really only summoning 1 ring in the center of you opposed to 2 around you. But it's still pretty good and pretty short. So overall, let's take a look at the entire awakening kit. We have the L7 awaken. Got this skill, can't do much with. Got this skill in the form of lifesteal and mitigation. We still have our shield on here with a lot of damage, a lot more range. We got our dual immunity summon or high damage summon. We got our stun. I think this is more effective when it comes to stunning multiple mobs, I'll say, because you have multiple hits. The original boot skill only stunned once, while this one you'll be able to hit mobs continuously and stun them. We have our legend L4. We have our infinity skill, and then we have our LL4, which is a summon, and then we have our LL7. And these gates, which do not evolve with awakening, and they have their uses. I haven't really put them to the best of use yet in terms of gameplay. I haven't played in game with this class yet, but I can imagine the gates could be useful when it comes to fighting a lot of mobs that have a lot of HP and you want to have more CC over them. And I should go over the gates a little bit more here. So if you look at the gates descriptions, all 3 of them are actually different slightly. So at the bottom of the description, gate 1 slows enemies. So once enemies go through them, they're slowed, and you also get 1 second of knockback resistance. So you cannot be knocked back while in there. Gate 2 has knockback resistance, but this time it binds them. So that's why I have it set up a certain way where when the mobs walk through it, they'll come on the other side and they'll be binded already. And then gate 3 is just knockback resistance. It also uses less of the GP. People are saying this is glitched. Maybe it is based off of what they see on Korean LaTale, but honestly, I think this works really well, considering it doesn't have any additional effects outside of knockback resistance and it uses less GP. I really feel like it's just meant to be a mobility skill. And if mobs are on top of you when you use it, they also will teleport with you regardless. So as you can see, this is the only one that's coming back up. But the gates do have their uses if you can figure out a way to, put it into the kit. I really only like using the mobility skill for the most part because it helps me get through the maps a lot faster. But I'm sure there's some creative people out there who can figure out how to put these to better use. But that's pretty much going to do it for Gatekeeper. Overall, I think it's, a cool addition to LaTale. Chakrams are cool, but I feel like maybe 1 bigger chakram would have been cooler, or maybe 3 floating chakrams, or just some way to make it look a little bit more unique, opposed to just looking like Sephiroth, which is a class we already have with the Knuckles. I feel like it kind of takes Sephiroth out of the game a bit, since it takes some of its skills, for one, and then it's just a lot more intuitive to use, better updated, has summons, has better CC, and it's just less complicated. But it isn't really a fighter the way Sephiroth is. Sephiroth does focus more on fighting, opposed to how Gatekeeper focuses more on its gate concept or its summoning concept. But overall, though, seems pretty cool. I like how it runs. This is a pretty corny animation, but for some reason, it looks very fitting on LaTale. But thanks for watching. Hopefully, you can enjoy the class yourself. It's your boy lemarss, and I am out.